Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is now round 6 of the SA Super League. My name's Stuart Forbes, and joining me today is making his commentary debut, Adrian Menzel. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart.
And today we've got this afternoon we've got a very good, interesting game today. The singles between the Northern Knights and the Eastern Raiders, and the representatives from those respective teams, Bernie Ward for the Knights, also from the Walkerville Bowling Club, and for the Raiders we have Tony Treloar from the Lobethal Bowling Club. And Tony Treloar has, in a sense, been the talk of the tournament so far. He's played a lot of singles and getting a lot of great results so far.
Yeah, he played in the last game and did really well there, so all been equal well. We'll still carry on and we'll see what happens from there.
Exactly right. Now the first bowl's just been played. Bernie Ward won the toss and elected to bowl. Unfortunately, didn't have a great start, so wide open for Tony Treloar at this stage. Now it doesn't go without saying. Special thanks go to West End Sports Centre and the City of Salisbury for sponsoring this event, helping Bowls SA put this all together. It's been a fantastic job that everyone has done, a lot of hard work in getting this up and running and smoothing everything out from week to week.
Yeah, well, talking about sponsors, we've also got West End and the advertiser, and it's great to see them come on board and help this Super League. So within itself, it's something that's been new to South Australia, and obviously listening to some of the broadcasts and that has taken a fair bit of interest from interstate. So we're the trendsetters.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the end of the day, that as long as they don't come and flog it from us, especially the Victorians.
They can try, but I'm sure we'll fight and keep it.
Yeah.
As we've been talking, Tony Treloar has started off with an absolute bang. Touch with his first. Second falls slightly short, but has immediately got Bernie Ward under the pump here. Really forced him to respond with this third bowl to get second wood.
Yeah, well, as I said, I was watching his earlier game, and Tony was doing the same thing and putting pressure on, and when you get one right close like he has there, you got the pressure on straight away. And here comes another one. It looks reasonably well, and there's every chance that he'll put Bernie under more pressure. And yes, it looks like a good bowl.
Pulls up slightly short, but does beat Bernie's best, so holding two there for the Raiders. So this is a great start for Tony. Naturally, you'd like everything to be a bit closer, but to be holding a few on the maiden end, this gets the jitters out, especially in that feeling out process of the game.
Yeah, of course, you must remember, Stuart, that Tony has played just the previous game, so he's must have got a feel for the green, whereas Bernie, I can't remember whether he's actually has played early today, but that has a definite advantage to the extent is that if you've got that feel,
exactly,
it makes it so much easier right from the start.
Exactly right. You go into back-to-back games, you might be a bit hungry, but you've definitely got the feel and touch for the green.
Yeah.
I know I always need to have a quick snack in between games personally. And that appears to be one for the one for the Eastern Raiders. So Tony Treloar kicks things off. So that's a good start for him. And just going to the screen, say hello to Cindy Haverluck. I hope I pronounced that right. Apologies if I didn't. And to Jancy Amper. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, to those that are watching the live stream, feel free to comment any where you're from, where you might be at, if you're holidaying somewhere, if you got any support for the players or teams or even questions for us. Interact with us. We'll do the best we can to respond back in kind.
Yeah, it's great to see that the Bowls SA have taken this on, and it's adding a different perspective to the game itself, even though that Bowls Australia had the championships on Facebook going back some time ago. But I mean, the thing being is that once again, to the best of my knowledge, South Australia's taken the lead and done this. So it's good to see that we're doing that sort of thing, and also bringing it to you back in your either lounge room or wherever you may be, and it gives you the good opportunity to be part of it instead of being here, even though that at the same time we've got a pretty good crowd here today from what I've heard last time I was here, and it's good to see those people come out and enjoy watching these players, which are basically the top players, I suppose you could say, in the state,
Yeah,
be it from country and or metropolitan area.
I mean, even if you had an argument for one or two players not deserving, everyone's performed really well in this event. So, you know, I know I even applied for the draft and didn't get picked. And looking at how everyone's performed, I wouldn't put myself in for anyone else at the moment. So I think the coaches have done well picking their teams, especially with some of the criteria that they had to meet. And a lot of the guys, having never played together before, really coming together and meshing well.
Yeah, well, that's part of it as well. At the same time, you know, when you've got your teams and that sort of thing, if you're coming in as against players, or with players, should I say, and then against players that you never played before, it's all a new ball game. So it's one of those things where you've got to be able to grab the learning curve and get to meld in with players, and then also to know your opposition. And the better you can read them, and the better opportunity you've got of actually doing and being successful.
Yeah, truer words have never been spoken. And Bernie Ward just runs into Tony Trelaw's last bowl, so still looks to be one to Tony, but a very tight head on this second end, so both players making quick adjustments to the green. And being on TV, certainly no added pressure at all.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think at the end of the day, when they're sitting out there, even though that it's been televised, I think they're concentrating and playing the game properly. They're actually watching what they're doing and doing their best to their ability.
This is true. And also hi to Jenny Collette from the Encounter Bay Bowling Club. Can you give us updates on Steph Clark's game from time to time? We'll certainly try. That game between the Rogues and the Blazers is on the other side of the rink, so it will be difficult to get accurate scores, especially as players and officials tend to stand in front of the scoreboard from time to time. But whenever we have that opportunity, we'll give it to you as best as we can. At the very least, we can see the masterboard very clearly, so that's something that we can do pretty professionally, I guess you could say. And great ball by Bernie Ward. That's fantastic.
Not wrong. He's read it well, played it well, and reaped the benefits.
Yeah,
and that's what the game is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Turned it into two, and that's a really great shot, especially with that kind of weight. It slowed down and rested one just perfectly. So that was a fantastic shot under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, that's what the game's all about. If you're a leader, you can put your first ball right up against the kitty. It puts the pressure on straight away and makes the other person think. And that's basically what you have to do with the game all the way along. You know, as much pressure you can put on your opponent, the better you'll be.
Yeah, it's a bit like chess. You got to think two spaces ahead of your opponent.
Yep, you're spot on. Okay, here we come with Bernie with his first bowl, and I think it looks reasonably good. He seems to have got the feel for the green, a little bit wide, but
finished tight, but the weight was good. He as we saw in the first end, finished in a pretty similar spot with his first. So while he didn't get the result he wanted in that first, if he can make that adjustment, the weight's probably the easiest thing to hold on to. I find.
Yeah, well, the thing being is that if you can actually adjust on your subsequent bowls and improve on it, that's part of the secret to the game, to make sure that you're taking advantage of what you've previously done, and at the same time as also, as I said, is that pressure from, or putting that pressure on your opponent to make them think.
Yeah, so Tony Trelaw didn't quite capitalise with his first, but seemed to force Bernie on the other hand, which is an interesting take. Still wide open on the other side, so it's an interesting decision there. And Tony looking to make a great correction here. This is looking good the closer it goes. Pulls up a little short, looking to be back maybe 2.5 feet.
Got Bernie coming in with his third bowl. We'll just see
he switched back again.
Yes, he's gone back onto the forehand, and this looks like a reasonable sort of a bowl. I think he's just working on a bit of backward there.
Well, he's played it well, finished behind.
Yeah.
Naturally, he can go the bare white with his last to trail it for 3 or 4. Will take a very good bowl to do so.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely has that shot. Make Tony think twice. And Tony responds in great fashion, drawing the shot. That's a fantastic bowl.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the pressure. Just that one bowl coming down can change things completely, and he's changed it around straight away.
And for the 4th time, Bernie's changed hands. An interesting tact. Just looks to be, too wide. So failed to capitalise. 1 in 3. So Tony looking to draw for 2 here.
Yeah, he's got the opportunity to be able to grab that extra shot and add to his score.
I've always considered these bonuses when your opposition doesn't take the chance with their last bowl and you got a lot of room to draw. So
yeah. Well, the thing is that in that case the pressure's off you a little bit.
Yeah.
And the control as far as what's going to happen, as far as your destiny, is all in your hands yourself. And just looking at that, little bad luck, it just went through.
Yeah, narrowly missed slicing the jack back to Bernie, so probably thanking his lucky stars at the same time, but yeah, could have definitely capitalised and made a second shot there. So that's 1 more to the Raiders as we go 2-all going on to the 3rd end.
Yeah, for those that are not here, you may not be able to see, but we've got a sort of a day which is a little bit of sunshine, a bit overcast, and but reasonably pleasurable to be here.
Yeah, it's not.
And if you're, there's still time to come down. If you live locally, come down and have a look. And if you haven't been or have any interest in bowls, it's very interesting to come down and see these bowlers bowling the way that they are.
Exactly. At a rough count, I'd have to say there's definitely over 100 people spectating, so it's a great turnout. And weather-wise, definitely one of the better weather days. We've had a few shockers over the course of this, so I always find if it's not raining, it's good enough.
Well, myself being down from the country, I'm not going to complain about the rain because we need it. But then again, at the end of the day, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, this is true. Now, Tony Treloar, I think he picked up the jack with his first bowl and changed his hands to stay out of Bernie's way. And, well, he's played a great shot here. So, at least 1 to Tony. Could be a measure, but still plenty of bowls to come.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think he might be just a bit short.
Yeah, unfortunately, he sent that shorter than his first, so not the start he would be hoping for, and you'd think Tony can really capitalise on this right now.
Yeah. I've always been that way, that whatever bowl you put down, if you can improve on that, your last bowl, as in getting close to the kitty, that's what it's all about, and just being consistent and keep working away at your game and just get that little bit closer each time.
Yeah, and the marker indicating 2 and a measure in Tony's favour, so really needs this is an important bowl by Bernie Ward, and he does hit that one in, but might take the measure out of things.
I would say so, yeah.
So still 2 to the Raiders.
He's, to some extent, the way I see it, Bernie's sort of making a little bit of rod for his own back by being short.
Yeah.
He hasn't really got one that he's got past the jack, so he has to do something this time to be able to redeem himself and to get himself right in there.
Yeah, there is actually room to get contact on his own bowl and sit and stay.
Yeah, for sure. Even just draw him.
Yeah, he can draw it cold as well. So he's definitely played it heavier than the last and much needed as well. So any contact will help. And he just manages to find the gap. Buddy backflops and appears to have stolen it.
Looks like it. Yep. Well, that's what I was talking about before. You
Yeah,
know,
so
they
that
got
was a
off.
great final bowl.
Yeah. And then within that in itself boosts the confidence, makes it a lot
Exactly.
easier for you for the rest of the game. You know, if you've got that confidence where you're not on the back foot, it.
Yeah,
As I said,
you drop that 2 or 3 early, especially in singles. They're always difficult
Yep.
to come back from,
Yep.
and even more so with limited ends because you haven't got all the time in the world
No,
to,
that's right.
to
That's
stage
right.
your attempt.
yeah. Unfortunately, Bernie put it up in the ditch, so we'll get a.
That's something I've not seen this tournament, so unless it's happened while I've not been here, I'm going to claim that as another first.
No, I saw one early today.
Oh, there we
Stuart.
go.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
So Tony electing to bowl or force Bernie to go shorter with the jack roll.
Actually, that's something that I actually noticed in particular is there's not a real lot of real short ends played.
Yeah, I think I've had a couple of bowls on this myself, and it does pull up rather quickly.
Right.
And I think if you're trying to play it too delicately, you can leave yourself very wide open for just the wrong bowl to, fall 6 foot short. That might otherwise, feel good out the hand. So
Yeah, well, personally, I love playing short ends for the
Yeah,
simple
I'm the
reason
same.
being is that you just because they're shorter, you just seem to have that little bit more control
yeah,
and get it in a lot easier. And
you can often see those people, they play it so short, they feel like they can just reach out and place it there, and they fall 10 metres
Yeah,
short, so to
yeah.
speak.
yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
not.
Cosy.
I'm not one of them. I'm very, very conscious of playing short ends to make sure that I'm right in there.
Yeah. Whenever I practice, I just make an effort. The very last end, mat right up, jack on the tee,
Yep,
and
yep,
no bowl allowed to be short.
yep.
And
Yeah, well,
come
Bernie with
handy.
his second bowl has come in and taken shot. Looks very, very good in its current
Yes.
position, but
Yeah, great start there by Bernie. I guess the error with the jack doesn't seem to come back to haunt him. Although Tony Treloar saying you're
Yeah.
not having it all your own way.
no, that's right. He's come down with a great bowl and put it right on Kitty and stolen the thunder from him.
So it's a very delicate shot. To get around both the blue and the yellow, they're sort of side by side with one another.
Oh, bad
And that
luck.
was a fantastic effort.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
but the jack.
And how often do you see that happen? You just sometimes even just to where you're going through, as we refer to the farmer not shutting the gate properly. Yeah, you just sometimes just can't believe some of the gaps that you go through, and it's
Yeah. You always
incredible.
get those couple where you go, hey, is that even possible? It seems like it just wobbled through without touching
Nah,
anything.
that's right. Yeah.
But that's 2 great shots by
Yeah,
Tony Treloar
yeah,
there.
no, he's
And,
done well there.
I mean, we all felt the collective ooh from the crowd of Bernie's last. So I think everyone will be looking for a great result here, especially us from an entertaining standpoint. Well, he's looking at it keenly.
Yeah.
I think he likes it. He gets around the
I
first,
like
the
the look
second.
of it too. Oh, same thing.
He's played 2 fantastic
He
attempts
has.
there.
He
Just
has. Yes.
pretty unlucky not to get the result from one of them, but meanwhile,
Well, we got some-
young Jack Hocking, young Cooper Hocking for the Knights in the triples games played an absolute horn to get to draw Jack in the ditch and stay right on top of it. So that's a fantastic shot by the young lad.
Yep. Okay, we've got Tony's last bowl coming down.
He's played 2 great shots in a row, so would fully expect him to make this the 3rd.
Yeah.
However,
Bit of bad luck.
that might take the backward out of the contention with the way that rocked.
Yeah. It just happened to move it just a fraction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there's only one. Yep.
Cut his own tally down to
Yep.
1, so holds on. But you played a great end like that, you'd be disappointed to
Yeah.
walk away with
No,
just
that's
the
right.
one shot.
Of course, you must remember, every time you're scoring one shot, the opposition's not getting one, so
This
while
is
you're
true.
doing that...
There's always a silver lining.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Now, just going across to the other side with the Rogues and Blazers game, it is currently the Blazers in the lead, 13-5. I think with the Rogues now officially out of finals contention, they're doing training for next season, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 13-5, that's a big jump sort of thing. And of course, it depends on whether they've used a power play to get there.
Yeah, so I know the triples at least. The game that Stephanie Clark's involved in is actually up 8-0.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
to Jenny, if you're still tuning in, Steph's off to a great start in that game. And the team's responding, and well, you take away that 8-shot margin, they're actually down. So
That's right, yeah.
It's the triples that are doing all the work.
Yep.
And another fantastic first bowl by Tony Treloar there. Going back to our game.
Yeah, he has put it right on the money, and followed by another one coming up a bit short, but
Yeah.
at the same time, some of those short bowls in there can be a blocker or whatever you want to call it, or being a bone of contention in the way of one that is going to be delivered by the opposition.
Yeah, this is true. And, well, the amount of times I've ran into a short one,
Yep.
Bernie gone very far behind with his second, so I think he'll be electing to play a bit more aggressively with his with his third and fourth bowl,
I would think so. Yep.
especially with that one right there. So I guess the job now for Tony Treloar is to not build a target for Bernie to smack into. So he's left a bit of room there.
Yep. No, it'll be interesting. No, he's just playing a nice shot to go in around the head.
Steady over the draw and tracking very well. I think he's got this.
I think you're right. No,
Wow,
it's just going to go
there we
short.
go.
Unfortunately, bad luck.
Stand corrected and he pulled up. But
Yeah,
the perfect line.
I would have thought he might have played a bit more because of the one that he put at the back. I thought he might have played a bit more weight on it. just
Yeah,
to,
well, you certainly don't want to be short playing a shot like that.
No, for sure. Yeah.
So he's made a bit of a mountain out of what was a molehill.
Yeah, yeah.
And now, if Tony can stay off that bowl, well, he rocks it, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to
Nah,
be enough
it
to
hasn't
hurt him.
made any difference at all. Okay, we'll see how Bernie responds.
He's playing quicker this time.
Yes, he's put a bit of weight on it.
Doesn't want the end to be killed, but does need Jack to go straight back.
Oh, he's missed it. Unfortunately, missed it by a reasonable amount.
Yeah, played that far too wide.
Yeah, yeah.
But he'd sort of cut himself out of options, except for that shot.
Anyhow, still soldier on. Doesn't mean to say that you're right out of it.
Exactly.
Very often that you, in fact, the game earlier, I saw there was about 14 to 15 shots down with about 8 or 9 ends played. It wasn't very long later, they were right up back in the April.
Yeah, and just looking at the computer, Michelle Brand watching from Darwin. So thanks for tuning in from all the way up north. Can you please give score updates on the Knights, pairs and triples? Certainly. It is all square in the pairs game, 3-all on 4. And in the triples, it's currently 4-2 in favour of the Knights. So only a one-shot difference in an overall. Oh, no, sorry, all square overall. Oh, no,
Yep.
Sorry, I was right with the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take a maths course during the week and work on that for Friday.
Oh, we can't be perfect all the time, can we, Stuart? Okay, Tony's a little bit short on the first head, and we've got Bernie coming in. So basically, there's been a opposite type play as to what has been played normally. So we'll see.
Yeah, so he's played very strongly with that first bowl of his, and straight away puts. You wouldn't say Tony's on the back foot, but needed an improvement on that one, you'd
Yeah,
think. Otherwise,
yeah.
this is where the pressure can start building up.
That's right. And it's surprising how much it can change so much sometimes. It's just
Yeah, it can
incredible.
all get undone in the click of a finger. I think I've done that analogy last week, so I'll leave it. don't want to rehash all my material. So 2 great shots there by Bernie Ward,
Yep.
starting off pretty strong. Plenty for Tony to work with.
No, to the average person sitting back watching, it may look pretty. The game itself is pretty simple, but there's more to it than really meets the eye. And it's not until you get right into it, sort of thing, is that you actually start to realise that is the case.
Yeah, and a lot of players have come off this TV rink in particular, saying it's trickier from hand to
Yeah.
hand and
Yep,
doing all sorts of interesting things. So
yep.
the ones that appear to make light work of it, I can assure you now, it's certainly not light work out there.
Now, Bernie's come in and
And that's
yeah,
a
he's had
fantastic bowl.
it. Yeah, he's. I'd say 2, with the possibility of maybe 3. So he's working his way back into it.
Yeah, this is the sort of head that he needed, just grouping all his 4 relatively close, not in fear of too much to trouble him at this stage. Naturally, you can't stop someone picking up bare white, but he's left enough room for bowls to go through.
And they just goes to show how quick it changes with Tony's third bowl, and he's gone 1 up. So
Yeah, so stealing 2 shots. You'd think Bernie's going to play quick to sit that bowl through. He certainly
he's
sent
got
it
a
a bit
little
quicker.
bit of weight on it,
Nothing over the top, but
No,
a comfortable
but
pace.
I don't think it's going to make it, unfortunately for him.
On the contrary,
I've
he's
been
drawn it cold, I
proven
think.
wrong. No,
Oh.
well, he has made it, but
Well.
unfortunately, I think it's still Tony's bowl is just that fraction closer. But yeah, no, it was a good try from Bernie, and
That was a very great effort.
having a good look at it. Having a real good look at it.
So Tony favours his, but does look to be a measure.
Yeah.
And especially on the screen, certainly looks to be that way. Just the way the yellow, that last little bit of roll.
Yeah. Well, even when you actually lots of times when you look at the head straight directly over and above it, and it becomes a measure. There's been times when I've absolutely been astounded as to the actual difference, and I believe that I got a pretty good eye.
Yeah,
But sometimes it proves you wrong.
exactly right. And as it turns out, Tony Treloar taking the 1. So, 3-4 great bowls to finish that end by the 2 of them, and I think 1 shot was a pretty deserving result.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Considering how tight that head was.
Yeah, well, Bernie had the opportunity and he just failed to. Well, no, he didn't fail. Tony was just that little bit better to be able to put 1 in there and take 1 off him.
Yeah,
That's-
the finest of adjustments, and,
Yeah,
and Bernie's
sure.
really got that shot back.
Yep. And that's all part of the game, as
Mm.
to what I was saying earlier, how things can change so much.
He starts
Yeah.
off strong yet again.
Yeah.
Just a handy foot behind. And Bernie responds in very good fashion,
Yep.
closing in on the jack.
Oh, yeah,
And
no, that's a good bowl.
the marker doesn't move, so he didn't quite touch it, but gee, it sure looked like it was going to.
Tony coming down with his second bowl, and
Looks to be playing it with a bit more gusto.
yeah, he just seemed to look as though he got a bit of weight on it.
Sent it well. Well, that's a fantastic
Oh, yes,
response.
Yep, yep. Just sitting back in behind.
Think,
Even though that he may be down, there's always that opportunity. If you're behind,
yeah,
the kitty only has to get touched a little bit and roll back, and you've got shot.
don't want to be calling it early, but I think the last couple ends, both players have really found their groove and really built the standard to be a bit more than what the first few ends were shaping up
Yeah.
to be. So
Well, like I said earlier, it was just that getting the feel of the green and that sort of thing. And one of the the big advantages is with the green like this is that there isn't generally a big change as against the grass, but you play on grass, and especially night time, so
Ooh, yeah.
often you have that where when the sun goes down and it starts to get cold and you get moisture come from up below.
Yeah, and it pulls up 3 feet more than you think.
Yeah, it's you don't really believe that it can have such a big difference at the particular point in time.
Yeah.
Right, we've got Bernie heading back down with looks like he's just going to
It's sort of
go around the back with it.
control, just the way the ball arcs in. But if you're trying to play to put one out, you can specifically find and go for an edge, just to rip it out a bit more cleanly. And
Okay, both got one bowl to come each. And Tony first of all to put his down.
yeah, well, if I were Tony, you wouldn't want to be leaving anything on any stone unturned, but looks to be playing with a couple feet over, and
Yep.
he's chasing it intently. Looks to be liking it, and just cuts inside.
Just
but
coming underneath.
that would have been a fantastic bowl with just the right line.
Yep,
Only needed just that one rock to push Jack towards his,
that's right.
and well,
Okay, we'll see what Bernie can do.
yeah, if I were Bernie, I'd be leaving it alone. I don't think he'll be
Well, I think
disappointed
he
with
has
that.
left it alone.
Yeah, you want to give it a chance, but you're not going to be too
That's right.
upset.
That's right.
So, pretty dangerous to rock.
Yeah, nah.
So,
The
one
old,
shot there to Bernie Ward.
it's the old put it in your pocket
Yeah, exactly. I've not seen
terminology that's used.
I've not seen anyone do that so far this tour. I think people are
No,
afraid.
I don't think I've seen it.
There's a lot of people watching. You don't want to. I know a few times I've done it, and you get a few people imitating chickens and all sorts.
Yeah. I know. But at the end of the day, it's all part of the game. It's allowed, and
Yeah, all a bit of good fun.
oh, that's for sure. That's right. Yeah, no, I've done it a few times. No way I'm going to upset the apple cart and cop a lot of flack from you if you happen to do the wrong thing from your teammates.
They say they say the most dangerous bowl in the head's the one that's in your hand.
Yep. Okay, coming in next in with Bernie's leading in, and he's reasonable to there. Good
Yeah,
start.
Seemingly, no light can get between these two at the moment.
No,
They're just
right.
going back and forth, and these are the kinds of games you want to watch. And hello to Sharon Kane from Riverton, and also Captain Morgan, which forgive me if I'm wrong, is the pet cat. No, now I've said that, it'll probably be the dog. I do recall it being a pet.
Bernie coming down with his second bowl. He's
Played it quick in the
Played-
first, but that's a fantastic shot there.
got him sitting back behind.
And if that's your starting point for the first two bowls, you're usually in for a pretty good end.
Yep.
Sharon says he's the boss of the house, so that sounds like a cat in my mind. And is that score right on the top? Yes.
Yes.
4-5 in favour of the Raiders.
Okay, Bernie's got a little bit of pace on this one.
It's
But
pulling up very
it's going
quickly.
to, pulling up, and no, it's unusual.
So-
That was sort of out of context the way I seen it.
Yeah, appears to be holding 3 at the very least.
Yeah.
But you'd think that Tony can slot one in here. There's a foot either side of it, so
Well, I think this bowl, I think he's given it a good chance.
he's played this very well. Just gets around the
He's-
first.
Yes.
And
yeah,
there he goes.
Good bowl.
Friendly
no,
roll,
well
but
done.
it works.
Yep. Yeah, that's good conversion from being 3 down to 1 up.
And not in the kind of spot where you can just rip it out and have nothing bad happen. So Bernie electing to draw. And I don't think it'll be enough.
No, I don't think it'll be either.
But, well, he certainly played it well.
Yep. Of course, Tony's in the situation where he's got last bowl, so what he has to do is draw, and every chance he can pick up 2 shots.
Exactly. Only has to get around his own. You don't want to be playing it too
No,
much
that's
heavy.
right, yep.
I think if he missed that yellow, he had the perfect weight as
Yeah,
it was. So.
yeah. And he
And-
might get a... No, bad luck. No.
Runs into the front of it, so looks to be 1 to Tony, and
Nice.
yep, the Raiders take a 6-4 lead.
Yep. Yeah, the opportunity was there, but that's the way it goes quite a bit.
It's been a nice, respectful game in terms of scoring.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Only really ones.
Well, when you look at it, like they've played 8 ends with a score of 9,
Mm.
so that speaks for itself. And
Keeps people like me that can't do any maths in relatively safe hands as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
not making a fool of myself too
No,
often.
that's right.
No more than I want to anyway.
We can't allow that to happen, can we?
Not without me wanting to anyway.
Nah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, and Tony just played a little bit through. This end is a little bit shorter than what they have been playing.
Yeah, especially
So-
going back away from the clubhouse.
Yes.
So this might be a bit testing on both the guys, but it's not in a bad spot to start. Bernie having no issues with it.
No.
Pulling up what appears to be 2 foot short.
Yep.
I feel from what people have been saying about both these guys over the course of the competition, as Tony plays a fantastic shot.
Yep.
Both the kinds of singles players are not going to take a huge risk at the cost of a number. So
No, that's right. Yeah.
Tony's played a great shot there for 2, but Bernie's not going to play anything overly risky that
Yeah, that's right.
might
yeah.
see him go even more down.
Yeah. Well, there's a good example of
That's-
how good they're both.
A rare occasion I've improved right.
Yeah.
So 2
Yes.
fantastic bowls there by
Yeah.
Bernie and Tony.
Of course, you only have to look at their history. They've both, to the best of my knowledge, played off in state events, state singles, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think from memory, Tony's the current runner-up of the country singles this year, and Bernie Ward, not only is he a constant attendant at the Adelaide Masters singles, but is either the SA Open singles champion or Metro singles champion back in the early 2010s. So they've both got a lot of experience behind them, and especially in singles, know that you can lose a lot very quickly. So
Yeah, just looking up the what they submitted. Tony's career highlight has been winning the state triples back in 2013 and 14. And I'll just have a quick look with Bernie there. Career highlights.
Bernie put his behind, so really Tony puts his behind a bit of pressure on Bernie as he cuts under his own short bowl, so and then he'd rather forget, but just holds on to the 1.
Yep.
Having said that, it'd have to be a very good shot to break that wide open and not risk sending Jack away from your own bowl anyway.
Yeah, well, Bernie's career highlights was he's submitted, winning the Australian Indoor Championships qualifying in South Australia and playing up at Tweeds Heads. And of course, that's a very popular spot as to where a lot of the big tournaments are played here in Australia.
I feel he's won a state title somewhere along the line, or he may have been runner-up, but usually in state events he's up and about in the last 16s quite often. So to do that consistently over a number of years, you clearly understand what it takes to win games in singles.
Yeah, well, state achievements, mixed pairs runner-up in 2018, within the singles, the 3rd in 2017, and various other ones as far as where he's been playing, and of late too, the Country Carnival runner-up of the singles in 2018, and
So-
country round robin winners.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not a bad effort.
So,
So
I mean, he's got a list of accomplishments. You almost need a scroll to
yeah,
to read
yeah,
out properly.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, Tony really makes amends on his first bowl and
Yep.
draws a very solid shot with his
he-
second.
Put it right in there and put. We're talking about the pressure earlier. Put it back on Bernie.
Yeah, the first two bowls are always important to just find your feet. And that's,
Unfortunately for Bernie, he's made it
Yeah.
a little bit difficult for himself by knocking one of Tony's in there.
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
including his last bowl from the previous end and these first three, he's gone off the boil just a slight,
Yeah,
a tiny
yeah.
bit. Not
So-
gonna call it curtains for him yet.
No,
but,
oh no way, no way.
certainly given the first 9-10 ends that he's
Yeah.
played, not up to the level that he would have been hoping
That's
for.
right. And you only have a situation like is there now where Bernie plays a. And I think he's going for it. Yep,
He's
playing an upshot,
going for the big
trying to
swing.
split them.
Oh, he doesn't
Here we
like it.
come. No,
Yeah,
no, bad luck.
cuts tight and misses everything.
Yep.
I feel there might have been a lucky result off his own bowl, but we don't ride those here. I'll be
Yeah,
getting chatted at my home club for that.
Yeah, well, in my days when I've been skippering, when you go up the other end, you've always got two bowls. I always have a tendency to have a go with your first one if you're in that situation like that. But just remember, you've got the last one to go to where you can. If the first one comes off well and good, but if not, use your last one.
Yeah, and the way Jack's looking and where it will likely go, I feel Bernie's only option is to drive again because a dead end's still going to be 2 or 3 down.
Yep,
You can't really outdraw it, and with Tony now putting a back bowl in,
yep,
something's got to give. So I think he'll
Yep.
be going big
yep.
again.
No, you just got to try and break cut numbers so that he doesn't go down so many and.
He's playing
He's-
what looks to be controlled weight, so I think he's just trying to do a bit of damage control. However,
I'll tell you what. Well, he's cut numbers
well,
back. He's gone.
that's a fantastic
he's
bowl
gone-
under the circumstances.
Yep. He's gone from 3 to 2, so that's cut one out.
So, breathing a sigh of relief for sure there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Tony just starting to pull away now. That's 9-4 after 11 ends. So
Yep.
we take that into consideration on the master board, which it says 15 all. So I guess you could say that's looking to be maybe 2 or 3 shots in the Raiders' favour now. Once the master board's updated,
Yep.
going across the green again, the Western Rogues have fought back, trailing the Southern Blazers 23 to 27. So that huge start by the Triples has gone well and truly. Is what was 8-0 is now 8-10.
Yeah, well, I was talking to their coach, Mike Waldash, earlier, and he was a bit reserved. The game that was being played here earlier was triples, and they mucked up on their super play, and he wasn't too impressed with that. But he said, we're still in there, we'll hang in there, and just keep at it. And that's what the game is all about. You never ever know until, as the saying is, the fat lady sings.
Exactly.
So it's just a matter of keep plugging away.
I don't see any of them around today, so there'll be no opera concertos at least.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we've had a good start there from Tony.
Yeah,
And,
fantastic
Bernie
start.
has
And not a shabby response by Bernie either.
No,
so
no.
naturally, you get anything behind, you can use it a bit later on.
Yep.
There's a potential
Tony.
train breakdown just across past the greens. but past the bowling club completely. If anyone's wondering what that hum might be coming from, not sure if it's transmitting through the mics at all.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I noticed when we come down here for the training day, was the trains and the aeroplanes.
Yeah, with Parafield Airport just
Yeah,
down the road as
yeah.
well.
I sort of looking along the lines of where it didn't really tend to favour
Yeah.
of with the commentary and that sort of thing, but
And 2 great shots here by
Yeah,
Tony Treloar. He's really starting to assert himself on this game now.
yeah, I think he's just starting to get a bit of a grip on it. He's just putting Bernie on the back foot.
It's very subtle, but yeah, these last 2 or 3 ends, he's just had that little bit of air of confidence about him.
Yeah.
And I mean, we see a great shot there by Bernie, but as an overall consistency thing, Tony's been playing fantastic shots these last couple, and as far as I'd guess a bowl's efficiency percentage thing would go by, he'd be just creeping ahead slowly but surely.
Well, just watching them change heads and their body language told me a lot. Tony's got that where he's out there to do something about it and win, whereas Bernie was just a little bit reserved and gave that indication that he might be sort of looking down the barrel. But however, takes a good player
And
to be able to get back up again.
3 great shots there by Tony Treloar. No one's giving away anything.
No.
Might yell out to Bernie and see if he can. Actually, I better not. He appears to be deep in thought. I don't want to ruin that. Probably one of my better career choices. Yeah, he looks to be a bit concerned.
He's doing a lot of thinking about it.
He's taking his time to walk back and assess this.
Yeah. This will be very interesting, this shot, as to see what his thinking is, to see how he executes. Yeah, he's...
Oh, I know what that train is. They're picking up people for the Crows Kangaroos game.
Okay.
They're adding extra carriages.
Right, okay. Right, here we go. With,
Unfortunately not at the game, being a avid Kangaroos fan. But having said that, we don't travel well in Adelaide.
Yeah, well, I won't make much comment about the football, Stuart, because I'm very disappointed with what's happened with my team. I'll just quickly mention the power, but that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, no. To be polite, I'll say you ran into a good Collingwood outfit yesterday.
I won't go on about it, but they've had the opportunities. They lost 3 games that they shouldn't, and it's their own fault. And I'm afraid to say that they've been in control of their own destiny, and that's what's happened. And that's it. End of story.
Yeah. Probably best we keep it that way. We don't want to inspire football debates in the comments.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll do any other sport, just not footy. And Tony picking up the 1, so 6 ends to go. Looking to really just settle things now.
And with his first bowl, he's just fractionally behind Jack and back behind it. So set it in a reasonably good place. Bernie coming down on the backhand, and all being equal well, we were cutting in underneath. Unfortunately, just a bit short. And that's something that Bernie seems to be doing in this game. It's just, I feel as though he's playing too many bowls that are a little bit short. And as a result of that, they haven't been scorers. Whereas with Tony, he's had a few short, but just hasn't. He's been able to capitalise on these better bowls. Have you ever had it commented about the magnetic effect?
Actually,
you know
no.
what I mean by the magnetic effect?
I haven't the slightest clue.
Okay, see the last 2 bowls?
Yep.
Bernie put his in short, and so is Tony. They draw to each other. Right?
Oh, monkey see, monkey do.
Well, basically, yeah. It's referred to me when I first started playing as a magnetic effect.
I feel if I had magnets with my bowls, I'd try and put them near the jack. That's the first time I've heard that. I've always called it monkey see, monkey do.
Right, okay, yeah.
Tony just sailing through a little bit there.
Yeah. Just holding the one. Yeah, and just talking about magnetic effect, I can remember in a final a few years ago, playing against Claire, that I deliberately bowled one short, hoping that the magnetic effect would happen, even though that we had won, and it happened.
I feel like there might have been some match fixing going on in that one.
No, not exactly that, but it's one of I use a lot of psychology with the opposition skipper or the opposition player.
I do that in the form of sledging myself.
Okay, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always good when you come across a team that will. They got people who give a bit back just as well.
Yeah.
It makes have a nice laugh at the end.
That's right. And the other thing too is that if it happens during the game, you can still take it in good fun. It makes the game a little bit more interesting. Nothing worse than two skippers or even two teams not even talking to each other. It just becomes so boring. But that's all part of the game.
Yeah, you want to create a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, it still looks to be one for Tony here, but it's just wide enough to make him double check.
Yeah, out with the old measure. Have you witnessed any times where they've had to call the umpire here in the tournament so far?
Not personally.
No, I haven't seen one either.
With the, I think there might have been a couple on the other games on the far end, with these up close ones in the commentary booth, it's been pretty well easy enough. Either that or the skippers are just too lazy to call them and just go, one will do.
Yeah.
I know there'd have to be one or two that have just gone, should be right.
Yeah. That does happen, doesn't it? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's up to the skippers to call it, and it's their prerogative. Okay. The 12 end's gone. Tony just seems to be plotting it away that little bit to get a grip on the game.
Scoreboard's really not reflecting the game.
No, I agree with you.
Tony, you'd say, has been the more consistent of the two participants so far, but having said that, it's still been pretty evenly contested so far. And speaking of hotly contested, there's a man that's going to be in the feature game coming up. A bit of a dogfight, I've heard. Ben Harris, thanks for joining us as a super sub.
How we going, Stu?
Yeah, been going well. Now, you're playing your tenant to a landlord in your next game, is that correct?
I am, and I'm looking forward to it. A little bit of bragging rights at home would be good.
Someone has to do the dishes for a week, that kind of thing?
That's right, mate, that's right. So if I can get out of the dishes, I will do that. I will take the win.
Now, you've been what I've been hearing from your coach at work, the upstanding citizen of the team. Showdown round, you rocked up perfectly sober after a Crows win and ready to stand in. What's been going on? You're taking this more professionally than Pennants.
Wouldn't have thought so, Stu. I was well primed, but I was lucky that I didn't get a game that round, so I was able to watch from afar and just die quietly. It wasn't good, but
You gave off an ice cold demeanour at the very least. You certainly had me fooled.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes.
Now, naturally, the Raiders have been pretty heavy competitors in this. Have you got any tactics going into the next game? I doubt any are listening. So,
the Raiders? You mean the Chargers?
That's the one.
We're playing the Chargers, yes. I mean, they're a good team. You've got a lot of state players there. You've got Greeny, Hainsey. you just got to just draw close and just hope. I think that's all you can do.
Fantastic. And as a whole, as a general concept, how's the Super League been to you? Is it you've been on the sideline, if you're not playing, you're spectating.
Yep.
How's the atmosphere on and off the green, and how do they compare to one another?
It's amazing. It's a really good concept. It's a good way to develop younger talent. It's a good idea, and I think it's the way bowls is going. You want to try and emulate what the East Coast is doing a bit more, I think, and that's probably it's the first start to that. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Fantastic. And you're putting your name in for the UBC, Casey's League.
I would not be of quality, Stu. Maybe off field, but no, wouldn't have thought so.
Who knows?
Know.
Try your luck out and see if you get there.
You might get lucky, mate. Might get lucky.
I mean, yeah, it's the Stephen Bradbury technique.
Well, that's what the Chargers, the Comets are going to do around the outside, hopefully. So
just hope everyone collapses in front.
Yeah, looks like he's right in on the money.
Yeah, got the fighting spirits coming out of him now.
Yeah, that's enough to be a booster within itself. And
if I look on the scoreboard, there's been a power play elected as well.
Okay, right.
So
yeah, no, you're right there.
So
okay.
So by the simple maths, Bernie holding 4 right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to be outdone though.
That's he's a bit lucky there.
A fantastic effort by Tony Treloar, just unlucky. You couldn't have played that much better, especially around that shorter bowl. So
yeah,
a lot for Bernie to do here still, but he's running it very well. Just falling slightly short. I think Tony's will still be holding second wood.
Yep. Be interesting to see what Tony does now. He's coming on the backhand.
Playing it a bit heavier than his first, it appears. So if he can get inside his own, he might be able to slice Jack outwards.
Yep.
Ooh,
no, I think he's made 2 shots.
3, I think. Yeah, I think that's 3 to Bernie Ward. So this is 2 very important bowls coming up here.
For sure, yes, especially with the power play.
And all of a sudden, game's not over. Bernie needs to get a. Whoa, he's played it too quick.
Yeah,
he was probably a bit tight for what he wanted as well, but still. 3 good shots there, Bern. It
would have been interesting to see what's so quick.
We're almost calling it there and then.
Yep, you're right there.
Very happy to be proven wrong in that case. And from an overall perspective, that 6 shots really puts the Knights in a powerful contention as we look across the triples with Kane Cools up against Chris Flavel at a 7-all draw. But the Todd Brand pairs up against Mitch Percy leading 18-3.
Yeah. That's a very big...
That's a huge result for the Knights.
Yeah.
And going to the other game, it's only 2 shots in it between the Rogues and the Blazers, 37-35 in favour of the Blazers. So that big fast start by the Blazers slowly but surely getting undone.
Yeah, being picked away at by the Rogues.
So 2 really cracking matchups by the 4 teams here. Meanwhile, Tony Treloar with a toucher to counteract.
And that's really what we'd like to see, Stuart. None of this win by 20, 30 sort of shots sort of thing. It just makes it so much more interesting for the game.
Yeah.
Overall, and
it's always good in pennants to get a 30-shot win and get the glasses or so. But I know there's always something about really just grinding out a tough win.
Yeah. And generally, at the end of the day, those close games are more enjoyable at the end of the day in interaction between the 2 teams.
Absolutely. Especially knowing that you've had to work so much harder to outdo your opponent in that context.
And both the teams usually appreciate it. from that point of view. Okay, we've got Bernie heading back down with
The Jack's just out of our view,
just
but
yeah. He's
Bernie
played it reasonably
just
well.
pulling up short.
Yeah, Jack is actually. Can we
So-
see it on the screen?
Marker appears to be indicating that Bernie's holding the 1.
Okay, yeah.
So this is a very interesting take, especially with the Jack getting trailed by Tony's first.
Right.
So Tony, I mean, naturally Tony would like to draw it, but any contact on his own can only be good. He's unhappy with that one, and short and tight. Not a great deal that can be said to make that sound good.
That's right, yep. Okay. Bernie with his last bowl.
So if Bernie's got an opportunity to make 3 here if he plays it right. Doesn't want to turn that in too much. Although, well, now everyone's having a look.
Yep. No, the
Is-
marker's indicating 1.
Bernie's still holding 1, so he breathes a sigh of relief that he hasn't undone all that hard work. And, well, it's a tricky spot for Tony Treloar. He can get the shot back by turning his own up.
Yep,
Pardon me,
just-
turning his own bowl up.
Just
But
bowling it over, yep.
you got to play it picture perfect here. The wrong angles only going to prove nothing's going right. And there's still the power play tag on the scoreboard, so I don't know if Bernie's playing 2 power plays in a row. Actually, I don't think that's in the rules.
Not sure on that one. No, they only can play 1.
Yeah,
can't
1
they?
each, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They hadn't taken it off, made me think.
Oh, what's
and
he
that's
done?
an
I reckon
unfortunate
he got shot.
result. He's cut his own bowl.
But I
We
reckon
can't
he's-
quite
he's-
see from our sitting arrangement. It's 1-2 Bernie. And Bernie takes the 1, so he made it no worse.
Yeah, right, okay,
So
yep.
played the right shot to give himself a chance, and
Yep.
just didn't quite come out.
Yeah, well,
That was probably the one angle that it couldn't go right for him. So
that's right. So
Yeah.
that gives him just that little bit extra jump, which has been a turnaround from what we were saying earlier, that power play being made.
another
All
power
different.
play is being called.
Okay, so it'd have to be Tony this time, so we'll see what happens there. Just mentioning the sponsors again, being the City of Salisbury, Sports Centre, West End, and the Advertiser.
Exactly. Now, the Raiders have called their power play now,
Right.
and Bernie takes a 2-shot lead going into this. And the first bowl's not too bad. Would have liked to have been better, but you're not going to complain. He's been on a pretty good roll since he picked up that 6.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the look at Tony's bowl, it's going to be in and around about the mark, I'd say. He'll just get a wick off of, well played. He just executed it quite well just to...
Yeah, got a feeling the game could be decided here.
yeah, you're quite on the cards there, Stuart. That could be quite the case because there are only a few ends to play.
And, well,
Yeah.
he was not shy of any weight, just
Nah,
didn't have the line.
Nah, that's right. He
So-
just needed to be that fraction wider.
Not the finest attempt that Bernie would have liked, but
Yeah.
he's not out of the wood,
No,
not in the
that's
woods
right.
yet.
Okay. Tony's coming down, and unfortunately he's gone into the same place, but
A friendly
a
roll,
bit of a luck, yes.
a very friendly
Yeah, it
roll.
all adds up.
That was. I think the less we say about that, the better, actually.
Yeah, you're right. They hurt sometimes, don't they?
Oh, yeah. And Bernie just has to get around the pack. Pulls it tight again. So,
Yeah, he needs to be right around the back, really,
yeah.
doesn't he?
This isn't the power play end that he was hoping for.
No.
Well, Tony nails another one here. He gets that 6 shots back and
Yep, we're back to where we
Yeah.
were earlier.
back to where we
So,
were.
Yeah, Tony's given it a lot of potential.
He's played this very well.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's in the count remains to be seen, but I would say it's 3, definitely 2 with a very good position bowl. I mean, you can't fault that, even if it's not in the count.
No, he's got the setting at the right place. If a mistake is made by Bernie, as the saying is, it's there back there as a catcher. And those catchers come into play quite often.
Exactly right.
So we've got Bernie who's having a good think about it.
There's pressure bowls and there's pressure bowls, and I think
Correct.
this is going to rate amongst
Yep.
one of the best.
Yep.
So a lot riding on a good result here.
He's just
Bernie appears to
played
like
it just a little bit of weight on.
He's given it a chance.
Yes, but unfortunately, he's just gone.
goes through. So
Yep. Good try. You've got to give him credit for that.
yeah,
So-
the weight I feel was correct. Just
Yep.
the line didn't help him, or
Yep.
at the very least come in enough.
You're right there. So we'll see what Tony can do here.
So there's potential for 4 here, and
Correct.
well, that's signed, sealed, and delivered, I would think.
Yeah. Yep. Especially with these power play, and if you can do it, well,
You pick up 8 shots, you got one end, and
That's
you're 6 up. So
yeah,
you're playing for pride after that.
that's right. Yep. Okay, he's coming in, and I think
He's
he's
played it-
overdone it, overboiled it a
Yeah,
bit.
he's
Yeah,
chucked
bad
it.
luck.
He's put it on 360 in the oven for a couple hours, and it's come out burnt.
Yep.
Having said that,
So yeah, he's got 4.
4. That can't be right.
Uh,
The marker's got everyone confused. 'Cause
yeah.
It looked like 3, and she's put up 4.
What's the scoreboard done? Well, hang on. Where are we here?
Well, now we've got to wait for the scoreboard.
Fusion reigns supreme.
I think everyone's confused. There's a bit of scoreboard controversy. The umpire's not taken the power play into account.
I don't know. I think I'm about as confused as what you are. Because Tony, you just mentioned to the marker about a player play that time.
Well, before that end started, Bernie had sung out to say power play.
yeah.
So I don't think the marker heard.
No, I think you're on the right track.
So, but they've got it on. Well,
Oh,
this could change everything.
yeah.
That was potentially the game for Tony Treloar right there. So if
Well, we had to.
neither of them seem to be protesting it, so I think they're just
No.
going to let it slide.
No, that's right.
So I guess we'll have to roll with the punches as well.
Yeah. No, you're right there. And the
So-
other thing being is that the marker 4 up. You know,
Yeah.
which to me, visibly from here,
A 3.
wasn't. It was a 3.
Well,
Anyhow.
They must have. I'm not sure what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
It's
a bit
anarchy right now, ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen.
I used to umpire football.
Yeah.
When you got yourself in trouble, just a quick call to play on and keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll do that.
So, last end, Bernie Ward needs 2 to draw, 3 to win, 1 down on the head. Everything Well, he's given himself a chance
Yes,
now.
no, he put that down well.
That ball was going to be the decision maker,
Correct, yes. Yep.
and still has to really still has to play 2 great bowls without Tony Treloar interfering. So I feel that might not be as easier said than done, because Tony's been in fantastic form.
Yeah, yeah.
As we soon see again.
This might be the one.
And, well,
he's done it.
That's the game winner right there, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. That's a fantastic bowl by Tony Treloar.
Puts him 3 up at the moment, but nevertheless.
And and the local hoon doing a burnout to celebrate such a great shot. I feel everyone could have heard that.
At least for that one, Bernie's cut out 1, maybe 2, so all been equal and well. That it's just made that a little bit difficult
Yeah.
for Tony. So
Still
what-
holding the 2. Just has to
Yes.
get around his own now. Even
Yeah.
turning it in is going to be a great result. So this has been a fantastic game, but all credit must go to Tony Treloar for reigning supreme in this encounter.
just unfortunately he's come a bit short and cut it in on the inside.
I guess while a disappointing result for Bernie Ward, the shining light is the team's getting the job done for him.
Yeah.
As the Knights lead
Yep.
by
And I think
14
he's done
shots.
it, and he's done it with that one. I think so.
And looks like Tony gets the 1. And they're 2. So
2.
final scores: Eastern Raiders 17, Northern Knights 13. So Bernie Ward is defeated by Tony Treloar. Fantastic game by both. I'm sure you'll agree.
Yep.
As we go across the greens, the triples game is 8 apiece after 12 ends, so nothing can separate those guys. And the pairs game is 19-4 in favour of the Knights. So the Knights definitely heavy favourites to hold on to that lead. Moving over to the other green, we have the Western Rogues now finally in front of the Southern Blazers, 44-38. So 6 shots. The singles has been over and won. Josh Studham beating Gavin Pfeiffer 20-14. The triples for the Rogues is leading 14-12 on 10. And the pairs, I can't actually see because Corey Wildash is in the way. But I've heard a lot of great shot closey, so I think the Rogues might be in front there. So, on behalf of Adrian and myself and everyone here at the SA Super League, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Adrian for coming in into the commentary. Pleasure to have you on board with us. Don't forget to tune in at 4 o'clock, where we have the 4 o'clock game between the Central Chargers and the Hyacinth Comets. So we've got a great game coming on then. So look forward to you tuning in then.
Yep, and thank you, Stuart. And it's been great working in conjunction with you and watching a game as such as what we have had.
No worries.